Whether you're on GLP-1s or not, quite frankly, shit like this you don't get to see too often. But bro he's literally posting content like eat more carbs, and there is a whopping 257 grams of carbs in that entire day. What are you talking about?
Disclaimer, this video is educational and informative in nature. Do not contact anyone shown in this video. Also, this video is discussing steroids.
Do not use steroids.
This is entirely for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Well, it's pretty much no secret that my philosophy behind my physique is lean as a law. I really prefer to be lean as opposed to, well, bulk or do any of the alternatives. I guess it's the same thing that Greg Doucette does. It's the same thing that I guess a lot of influencers do, is they just maintain a state of leanness perpetually, as long as it's not bodybuilder shredded in terms of like 5 to 6% body fat as a male. I think it's pretty sustainable. 10%, 11%, 12%. Coach Greg canonically said that I was less than 10% body fat when he was reviewing my physique. I'll take it, but I don't think I am. But there is a point where that clearly goes too far, where single-digit body fat percentages becomes an obsession that is so unhealthy, it leads you down paths which are almost regressive of where you used to be. For example, I was actually just scrolling through Reddit, and as shit does, it pops up on my feed correlated to the niches that I'm in. Obviously, fitness being one of those. I saw a series of photos from an influencer called Buff Unicorn, and it was the changes that her body had that somebody else was posting from where she started to where she was kind of in the middle ground to where she's at now. And a lot of her focus now, from what I'm gathering just scrolling through her profile, is that she's very focused on like being lean and showing her abs. And we talked about sort of her in a bunch of people, right? And we sort of talked about her already when we were talking about the video with women like oddly pulling their pants down to show like way more than they need to just on social media for no reason. Anyways, but I'm coming back to it now. I can see what people are talking about because there's a lot of comments about eating and stuff like that. I don't want to get too far into like eating disorders with her specifically. I need to do more research, but you can see that there is a drastic degree of, hey, you improved. And then there's a little bit of regression where leg size or circumference starts to shrink again. And we're starting to see these sort of hallmarks of male nourishment. Now, it may not be the case here, but one place that it certainly is a case is here. Nicholas Renteria. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know how to pronounce names. If you're watching this, I apologize. But we talked about him before. He's exotically lean, hyper lean, but along with the leanness, he's not very muscular. His degree of lean mass isn't actually that crazy. So it leads you to believe when looking at his videos and seeing bones protruding from his hips and, I mean, really male nourishment, you're like, is this guy starving himself? And look, in the conclusion of the video that we did last time, I basically talked about how he needs to be eating more. And there's a balanced approach to eating more that he could be taking. But quite frankly, I think the obsession with being hyper skinny is just unhealthy at this point. So I wanted to check back in, see what happened after that video. We usually do this kind of thing. So here's a before and after of what he looked like when he was overweight, and obviously what he looks like now. He shows a couple different pictures, one of his face and then one of his actual body. Now, I can see why somebody like him, who was in this extreme of a position, may actually desire to stay lean. There's a fear of getting fat. And I work with many different, formerly obese clients, and I know this is a very perpetual and almost unfortunately like pretty ubiquitous amongst people who were previously obese, is they have this innate fear of being obese again. And I think we're probably dealing with a little bit of that here. Now, again, I do commend him because this is a crazy transformation. Whether you're on GLP-1s or not, quite frankly, shit like this you don't get to see too often. But when you're starting to play Rich Piana background noises and flex in the gym bathroom, and people are concerned in the comment section, I'm concerned. I mean, this is too far. And I think it's important to realize, like, hey, maybe I have taken things a little bit far. I should slowly start to reverse my calories back up, which would be the goal. You getting lean is actually a really good thing. And I think this is great. But if you can take that and then reverse out of it It is going to enhance your quality of life astronomically, allow you to build more lean mass, and do something that not many people can achieve. Because once you get that lean, the partitionability of your muscles and body in general to food is actually insane. You can tolerate so much more food for a small window in time, but that amount of time is super progressive within the gym. You get so much done, unless, of course, you're too sensitive about potentially getting fat again, which wouldn't happen if things were controlled. I also want to make sure we compare this to the last before and after that he posted, because it wasn't like he just went from radically overweight to just a super shredded guy. There was a middle ground there, and I think it was actually somewhere that was pretty healthy. I brought this up in the last video, because in this comparison, in this before and after, I genuinely think he looks really good in the before when he's not absolutely dick skin lean. It looks really good on him. And we also covered in the last video what he eats in a day. And he talked about how his big thing was 3 steaks in a day. He said that he might add stuff to it or something like that, but it's mainly 3 steaks. We calculated the calories, talked about basal metabolic rate and an average meal, and it just full stop was not enough calories, okay? I have a feeling you may have watched that video. I wanted to take a moment out of today's video and talk about one of our sponsors, me. I talk about performance and safety a lot on this channel, obviously. And if your hormones are in the shitter or your health is deteriorated, there is no concept you're aware of that is related to performance. That's why I made our clinic On Wellness. This is a hormone clinic that I own and run. And I built it because I was tired of seeing, well, all of the things that we talk about on this channel. Steroid abuse, people ordering random things from China. We covered a video where we talked about the contamination of oils ordered from China, or teenagers running protocols that they just have no idea what they're doing to themselves. At On Wellness, we focus on optimizing hormones and peptides to get you the best possible results. These are US made products prescribed to you by medical professionals. We order you labs, we walk through the results with you one-on-one, and develop protocols that are shipped directly to your door. There's no illegal nonsense, there's no one-size-fits-all TRT protocol, it's no BS. And we also work with men and women who have a past of abusing steroids. If you've blasted and ruined your own natural production or just your health systemically, we aim to fix the problem. I'm personally obsessed about health markers and being safe clinically. I mean, I pull my labs religiously, even though I'm not on anything anymore, because I think it really does matter. So the labs that we're getting and the health analysis that we do is beyond what any clinic out there is doing right now. If you're looking for a non-judgmental, real service that's also affordable, On Wellness may be a good fit for you. You can hit the link down below to work with us at On Wellness. You'll get real labs, real clinician insight, a real custom-made protocol for you, and medication shipped directly to your door. Now back to today's video. Because he posted another post going over what he eats in a day. So I, of course, went through that video and calculated the macros. And more importantly for you, I tabulated a table to calculate micronutrient intake. This is one thing I think I don't see any YouTuber talk about, but it's so critical in a lot of different ways and features of life. So first, let's check out the video, the full day of eating.
What I eat in a day to stay lean year-round, without losing strength. Too long to read, haha. Lunch snack, 8:30 a.m., 1 banana, 2 rice cakes, cinnamon, honey. Breakfast 2, 10:40 a.m. to 30 g oats, 200 grams egg whites, 70 grams banana, Jordan's zero cal syrup. Y'all annoying with this one. Yehe IDC I pho with sweet eggs. And then? Snack 2, 1:28 p.m., 3 rice. I give up. Low-key got hungry again, 6:10 p.m., 4 rice cakes, 2 servings of real good meatballs, hot sauce. 9:19 p.m., final meal, 2 servings of real good meatballs, 200 grams egg whites, cinnamon and syrup, 80 grams cream of rice, same protocol as the egg whites. 35 grams blueberries. That's approximately 2,200 calories, 214 grams protein, 295 carbs, and 15 grams fat. Don't even lecture me about nutrition again, spy.
Yeah, that's really insane. 2 servings, 2 times of real good meatballs. Bro, mind blown. No, but seriously, if you guys want to see the total tabulation of macronutrients here, it's not looking so great, okay? We have a good amount of protein, at around 204 to probably 205 grams of protein. Assume a 5% margin of error, generally with macronutrients. We have 2,000 calories. All right, pretty slim, okay? Pretty slim. It's obvious that this is probably maintaining him, but I would also add that he's probably not eating this much every day. He did say in one post that he was extra hungry, so he ate more food, but that more food only brought him up to 2,000 calories a day. Now, as a man, it is really rare that you have to drop below 2,000 calories. Depending on goals, I think it makes sense acutely, but it has to be acute. And in this case, it doesn't seem very acute given that he's been posting for over a year like this. And then the big kicker for me is 25 grams of fat. 25 grams of fat. Your hormonal system has to be shot in the shitter. You are not producing testosterone at all like this, which then leads me to believe that he may not even be natural. To sustain states like this, he may not be natural because there is no way your HPTA works well at this rate. And that means hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, basically his testosterone production and subsequent hormones ain't going to be pumping out the good stuff. But again, like I said, when we started, I think the micronutrients are something that don't get talked about often and is actually super important. And anybody that says it isn't, I think is smoking crack because it is part of how your body works as well. It's like saying macros is not important. It doesn't matter how many you eat. Well, if I said that about any other essential nutrient, you wouldn't bat an eye. But if I said protein doesn't matter, it's like, fuck me, bro. Oh my God. Anyways, I tabulated the estimated. These are really rough numbers, so I don't exactly know how accurate this is, how much salt he's adding to meals, because this matters for iodine and different things. It's possible that he may be eating more, but let's just get into the nitty gritty. So vitamin A, I immediately was able to tell in his diet, he was extremely low. It's around probably 17% based off the food quantities that he listed. Vitamin D, it's non-existent. It's not there. Vitamin E, low. Vitamin K, low. Vitamin B, thanks to his extreme egg white intake, is quite high in all categories. Calcium, extremely low, like wildly deficient in calcium, which is something, as somebody who's interested in fitness and well-abled bodies, you should consider to be of utmost importance in your nutritional paradigm. You should want to mineralize bone content. You should want stable and rigid bones. You should want to be able to recover your bones from heavy impact training. But we're like uber deficient in a simple macronutrient that you're learning about in elementary school. Like, what are we doing here? It blows my mind. Manganese is actually a really simple mineral that your body does need to intake to effectively do a lot of things. It's a very multifaceted mineral, but essentially it's powerful within antioxidant status. It's powerful within specific enzymatic reactions. It provides itself or donates itself to enzymes for them to be produced and then functionally do other things in your body. Again, men should be consuming about 2.3 milligrams per day, yet in this diet we're seeing 1 at best. And his omega-3 content is what concerns me the most, because his alpha-linoleic acid intake is low. While that doesn't matter so much because your body only converts about 3 to 5% of alpha-linoleic acid into effective and usable, essentially, fatty acids such as DHA, EPA. You would realistically, to get like an efficacious dose of omega-3s in the content and way that would support bodily function, you would need to be eating well over 100 grams of fat a day in like nuts and seeds. So I tend not to focus on that one too much. I tend to focus on directly EPA, DHA, omega-3 fatty acids, essentially from marine-based sources, wild-caught salmon or something like that. A lot more easy to reach. You could have a very small fillet of salmon, once, twice every couple of days, and that would be rock solid. But in this case, we're talking like next to zero, literally. I mean, this is detrimental. And to understand this briefly, because it is critically important for you, me, and just about anybody watching this, they matter because DHA and EPA are literally structural components of neuronal membrane, and they actively modulate inflammation systemically, but also neurologically. Your brain is a very highly lipid dense tissue, and it's essentially built in that capacity. It needs those prerequisites just like muscles need protein. This is a really simple analogy, but you get where I'm going with it. For example, DHA helps maintain membrane fluidity and function, which actually affects how receptors, ion channels, and transporters move and effectively work within the membrane itself. making you, I don't want to say like smarter, but at least healthier long term and able to sustain normal function better for longer. So like when I hear somebody that's just like never eating omega-3s, I'm like, bro, like I get it if you don't like fish, totally fine, but let's try to find some supplementation. Ideally get like a third-party batch tested and reviewed supplement, which is very hard to do, to be honest, in the modern world that we live in. But you know, there is always, if you want to just stomach the wild caught salmon, you can make it taste pretty good in a lot of different ways. It's great, I love it, but you do want to make sure that you're able to intake regular consumption of like marine-based omega-3s. That's just it, quite frankly, in my personal perception of literature and what I kind of deem for myself as important nutritionally. Here, we're just not seeing that. We're seeing a literal kid who is so malnourished that he posts about it, delusionally thinking that he's flexing on us how much he eats a day. But the reality is he's hitting like half of the total net nutrient intake that he needs to in terms of micronutrients. I mean, and he's hitting basically all the water soluble vitamins. So not really doing a whole lot for him there. And like, obviously he rage baits it and uses it to his advantage to get more people to interact with his content, a method that we've talked about. It's as old as time at this point, which is about a year old. So we're getting there. But bro he's literally posting content like eat more carbs. It's like, brother, you just broke down your diet entirely for us. And there is a whopping 257 grams of carbs in that entire day. What are you talking about? And not to be rude, but like, I don't know, the average guy I know, at least, who's actively pursuing a fitness-based career is oftentimes eating like 400 to 500 grams of carbohydrates a day at a baseline, sometimes lower, sometimes higher. I generally eat around 400 a day when I'm like trying to actively get bigger, but my fat intake is also really high. So it's like at like 110 to plus, honestly, upwards of that per day. When I'm not trying to get bigger, when I'm just chilling, I don't often get that hungry. So I'm probably eating around that like 300, 250, 200 mark, like basically eating a shit ton of carbohydrates around my workout, but calling it good. This is not a lot of carbohydrates, right? And a lot of it is honestly made up from fucking bananas. So we're not talking straight glucose, we're talking a whole lot of fructose. He says shit like this, like, stop caring about what others think. Well, the thing about that is oftentimes there are people who have maybe a good outlook on everything for you, and they come off as maybe criticizing. I know I do in my videos, but at the end of the day, most people want to see you thrive. And that is, in my case, very much true. I think it would be fucking sick if brother could put together a really good diet that actually fulfills his nutrient intake, like actually meets his net needs as a human being, because he would probably explode and have a much better physique and be able to maintain degrees of leanness that are similar to this whilst expanding his physique, which I think is probably what he wants in the first place. You know, don't care about what others think, but if you're doing something that is clearly and obviously not sustainable, or at least shouldn't be sustainable, I think you need to maybe listen and open your ears a little bit to what other people have to say. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of weird to be posting this way, and like, you showed the diet as if it was a nail in the coffin as to, look guys, I eat so much food. But bro, I'm like trying to come up with what to say and be respectful, I guess, is what I'm trying to do in this video. It's not a good diet. It doesn't meet your net nutrient intake. And if this diet doesn't, I find it hard to believe that you'll be able to design a diet that does. This is a deficient diet. You are missing a lot of essential nutrients. And that word is critically important because it means something in science and nutritional sciences. It means your body cannot produce on its own. So you have to eat it or consume it in some fashion, right? That's not being done. And I just, like, bro would probably feel so much better. Yes, he's operating, but he could get so much better results, plus probably feel a whole hell of a lot better. I mean, he doesn't post with a girlfriend ever. So, I mean, who knows if he's even capable of maintaining any sort of relationship because of his emotional muteness. Trying to balance my way around words, and maybe other parts of that situation too, right? Like, it's not fun being lean. And anyone, you know, please guys, tell me in the comments down below, do you enjoy being a sub 10% body fat if you've ever gotten there? It kind of sucks. You don't have a sex drive, okay? Your dick oftentimes doesn't work so great, right? It's not fun. It's cool because you go to the gym, you take a couple pictures, and then after about, I don't know, 60 minutes of time, you're like, I'm so over this. Like, I want to start eating more food again so I can feel at least somewhat moderate in terms of my existence. Anyways, I'm rambling on. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Seriously, I better see you there, all right? Make me a promise. Make it right now. All right, put the spoon down. I see you. All right? Say I promise. Thank you. I'll catch you in the next one. I actually do really appreciate you, so hugs and kisses.